Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Depending on who you ask, this is either season 5, episode 3, or season 4, episode 18. So let's get to it, shall we? So you guys, do you realize that we have been with Dr. Frantic and this damn retreat for fucking 3 episodes now? It's just sort of like, y'all stretching this shit out too far. I thought the conversation with Dr. Frantic and Maurice and Kimmy had already been done, but evidently not. So they're talking about the sex, remember?
You know, Kimmy, he has a different level of sex drive than you. And you have a different level of active responsibility than him, which cuts back on her ability to be present with you. Now, the other part is the more that you do with her, the more that you embrace her as a person. And not just someone to have sex with.
Maurice was like, oh, is that it? So, Kimmy, basically all I need to do is, I guess, interact with you more so I can get more sex.
No, that is not what I said. I said that it's more that you embrace her as a person.
Dr. Frantic was like, nigga, that ain't what I said. I said, Dr. Frantic, if you was speaking fucking English and maybe somebody could understand you. Hell, all you had to say was, if you be at the house and help her out sometimes, maybe she'll want to fuck you. But no, Maurice tells him that, Doc, I understand. You know, basically sex is not just about the happy ending. It's more about the connection, the bond. So anyways, while they wind down the talk, Dr. Frantic thanks them for, participating in this retreat.
It has been a long day, but I thank you. I appreciate you for sitting down and talking with me. I do see that you guys are trying to get to know each other better.
And that's all that Dr. Frantic wants. And then Maurice was like, Doc, sometimes, you do need the bond of sex. I get that. It's all about the connection. And then other times it's really just about the letting the steam off. Okay, getting a little exercise. Oh, Dr. Frantic was tickled by this.
This is what you deal with all the time.
Why was he so tickled on that one? I think Dr. Frantic knew a little bit more about that than he was letting us. Now, we see Letitia, and she's in the kitchen, and she says that she got a message from Tiffany. Basically, Tiffany was like, thank Dr. Frantic for nothing. Tisha tells us that she sarcastically said, let Dr. Frantic know that we was able to use some of his methods on our way home. Okay, that's right, on their way home, because the Whitlows have left the building. Apparently, it was a little bit too much for them. But then Kimmy tells us that she had to speak in Birmingham at 12 o'clock. Okay. But Letitia and them kept on ignoring that and just kept on saying, they couldn't deal with it. It was too much for them. They didn't want to say what happened. Shut up, Letitia. But anyway, Marceau and Letitia thinks it's funny that the Whitlows became the focus of the retreat. So much so that they had to leave. Anyways, Maurice says that, you know what? He had a good time on this retreat. He wasn't really sure at first, didn't really want to come and all of that, but he did learn some things from Dr. Frantic, and certain things he will put into play at home. And it all boils down, you guys, that he actually would do this again. And now Dr. Frantic and his wife come in, and I was like, oh, I guess this is the end of the retreat, finally. Dr. Frantic's wife was like, where's Lewis and Tiffany? Letitia was like, they couldn't do it anymore. Kimmy was just like, well, Tiffany, she had to speak in Birmingham by 12 o'clock. And Dr. Frantic,
a conflict of interest. And that is something that happens a lot in marriages.
I said, yes, Dr. Frantic, it's called life. Okay, your retreat ain't the only thing. People got other shit to do. Dr. Frantic tells us in the confessionals that he's worried about the Whitlows. I said, you worried about the Whitlows and you had Marceau and Letitia sitting there all the time. I mean, he didn't even really concentrate on Marceau and Letitia. I guess Dr. Frantic was just like, I got a new fresh blood.
I can see what I can get out of them.
But Dr. Frantic says that they weren't as invested in it, and there were some things that he thought that maybe Lewis did not want to talk about, with his wife and in front of these strangers.
They jumped ship on the last day. I was mildly disappointed. But I wasn't surprised that they left early.
Because Dr. Frantic has been doing this for many, many, many years, you guys. Anyways, how did you guys enjoy the retreat? I mean, we still got 2 willing and able couples there, Dr. Frantic. All is not lost. Oh, yeah, they enjoyed it. They're going to take some of the stuff back with them and put it into practice. Marceau tells Dr. Frantic, thank you for bringing Lady Frantic with you.
Oh, you leave my wife out of this.
Dr. Frantic says, you know what? He done figured out Marceau.
He is the king of splitting hairs. You know that a hair is 1,000th of a tenth of an inch. I know this from my engineering days. Well, Marceau can split that hair into another piece where it would be 1,000 of a 1/10 of 100,000. It's like, Dr. Frantic, just say that Marceau full of shit like the rest of us do. But he tells us, you know what the couples could work on? Trust. Trust. They say that they trust each other, but the way that I'm breaking this down is that they are not 100% honest with each other. Okay? Because you are not 100% honest even at home. You definitely are not 100% honest in front of a stranger. So they go into this place called protective mode, where they only say so much, so total honesty, I question that.
So Dr. Frantic was like, you know what? I know what it is. They gonna tell me what they want me to know, and what they don't want me to know, they ain't gonna say. Okay, but you know what? It still has been a good time at this retreat. So you know what? Everybody get to hugging each other. Thank you, Dr. Frantic. You know, Letitia hugging them. Everybody hugging each other. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And then Dr. Frantic's wife says, you know, Letitia, you remind me so much of me when I was your age. Okay, Letitia, oh, really? Yes, you do. Okay, Dr. Frantic was on that bullshit back in the day, too. I had to whoop that nigga's ass in the shade. Now he out here giving. I was like, you know what? Dr. Frantic and Marceau might have more in common than we know, you guys. But anyway, Dr. Frantic's wife tells her to make sure you take care of yourself and remember your personal goals. So Letitia's like, I got a lot out of this retreat. I hope that the Whitlows did as well. Okay? But the retreat is over. We're going to miss Dr. Frantic. He has become my favorite character on the Love and Marriage franchises. At any rate, you guys, we make it back to Huntsville. Kimmy is catching up with Destiny. All right. Actually, Kimmy and Letitia are catching up with Destiny. So they go to, they meet her at a store. And while they're there, you know, they're like, we went to a couples retreat, you know, with Dr. Frantic. And Destiny was like, oh, why you ain't invite me? Well, you're not a couple. Okay. Well, you guys don't know that for a fact. Okay, as a matter of fact, Destiny is seeing somebody. You know, Letitia, who y'all boo? You don't know her boo. And Destiny is not ready to tell anybody just yet. Okay, well then you not ready to go on the retreat. So Letitia was just like, so when are we going to meet said boo then? And Kimmy was just like, Destiny is tight-lipped about the boo like she was tight-lipped about everything else. She was tight-lipped about her divorce. She's tight-lipped about her life, period. Okay, anyways. How was the Whitlows on the retreat? Oh, we got to know the Whitlows pretty well. You know, they struggled trying to open up at first, but they finally did. And they apologized for me and my soul for coming after our marriage like they did. Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So anyway, they tell her what fun the retreat was and blopty blue. Now, this was a couple's retreat, but when we go on a couple's trip, we fully expect you to bring the new boo, Destiny. Destiny says, okay. I mean, you know, Destiny do have her a new man and everything, but she's been trying to keep it on the low, but she will bring him about eventually. Anyways, they start talking about Melnika. I said, Kimmy, you just... Why are we talking about this? Melnika, that's her name, right? Martell's friend. Yeah, Destiny was like, yeah, Melnika, I know her. And she said, well, she just introduced herself as Mel. You know, Martell said the first Mel. And Destiny was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, she knows her from high school. Anyway, what happened exactly? Kim was like, oh, okay, well, I had met up with Mel, and she told me that Melnika was the one that was helping them with their wedding. And like a couple of weeks before the wedding, she called Mel and told her how Martell was messing around. And now she thinks that Martell and Mel probably have something going on just now. So we get the flashback of Mel telling Kimmy about, you know, her calling and saying that Martell was cheating, was asking about Melnika's one of her friends and all of that. And then Mel says, I think that something is going on with Martell and Melnika now. Now, it's interesting because I don't think that part was in the original when they originally showed that episode. I might be wrong, but I don't remember Mel saying that. Okay, but she did apparently say that. Now, I thought that Mel was saying that she thought that he was messing around with Melnika back then, but I guess it was back then and right now. So I was kind of confused a little bit. Maybe you guys can clarify for me. But it would explain, if he was messing around with Melnica back then, it would kind of explain why Melnica would be so upset and call and tell Mel that Martell is trying to cheat with one of her friends, if she was also doing, like, I guess it would be a secret if it was just her and Martell, but if she found out that Martell was fucking around with one of her friends as well, now she mad, because nigga, you cheating on me and your wife to be. So I mean, it could explain it, but it's sort of still, you know, I don't know. I didn't get those kind of vibes from Martell and Melnica from the beginning. So I'm just like, is this something y'all added, or like, what's going on? I'm confused here. Anyways, Letitia and Destiny was just like, and so she just brought this up to you out the blue. Like, why would Mel even tell you that, Kimmy? What? Well, apparently because I told her that Melnica was in Atlanta being fucking messy. Because Mel didn't even need to know any of that. It had nothing to do with Mel. So Kimmy just talked too fucking much. Apparently it's my fault. I said, Kimmy, let me go back and watch some of these episodes and see where I thought maybe you was being cool and you might have been being fucking messy around here. Let me check and see. Well, Destiny says that she never saw any evidence of them fooling around. You know, if he did mess around with Melnica, that was back in the day. You know, so let's just let that remain in the past. Anyway, enough about that shit. You know what? She about to have a soft relaunch of Madani. That's her beauty supply store. She's going to have everybody out, you know, and they were like, so you're going to invite everybody? Did that mean Mel too? And, you know, she was just like, yeah, I mean, if I do invite her, I guess I better get some security around here as well. You know, niggas don't know how to act. Was I the only one that, as you watched this episode, had a feeling that they filmed some of these scenes after the big fight that Martell and Wanda had? Just call me. My spidey sense was up. I was just like, this is too convenient, the way you guys are building this all up. What else made me feel that way? Well, it was the conversation that Mel and Martell had. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Marceau meets with Louis at the pool hall. They haven't been able to speak since the trip, the retreat. So they catching up with each other. You know, Marceau is still laughing about the fact that the Whitlows was the focus of Dr. Frantic's psychological needling, I should say. Maurice meets him there as well. And then when Martell shows up, Martell tells us that he's excited to be there as well. You know, since I'm single now, I don't get invited to the couples things. So I'm excited about meeting up with the guys. So when he gets there, you know, when they all get around, they always joking and jonesing on each other. So, you know, they're laughing about the couples retreat and how the Whitlows got picked apart by Dr. Frantic. Okay, basically the same way that the Whitlows did the Scotts. That would be Marceau and Letitia back in the day. So anyway, you know, Louis is telling Martell about what happened. Like, as soon as they got there, you know, they was waiting for Marceau and Letitia to get there. And then Tiffany had gotten a call. And she walked out the room. And Martell was just like, oh, she disappeared on the retreat? Well, nothing had happened yet. We hadn't gotten started. Marceau was just so happy that Dr. Frantic was all over Louis and Tiffany. And Louis was just like, I don't take nothing that man says seriously. Marceau was just like, it's payback, okay? Louis was like, all right, you guys, whatever. You guys want some shots? Gonna get some shots, even one for Martell. Anyways, what you guys get out of this whole retreat? Well, Marceau says that basically they realized that out of all of these years that they've been married, you know, they didn't have any problems till they started this fucking show. And all the external forces almost gave them pause. They almost didn't make it, but they finally figured it out. And that rope challenge, you know, that really did give them the, you know, that really did explain to them that, you know, you just need to figure out what works for you guys, and then you need to do that. All right. They were running as they were tied together. Remember? Maurice said that the rope challenge also opened his eyes because, you know, when he was holding on to Kimmy too tight, they couldn't figure the shit out, you know. And now he realizes that he need to give her a little space but still be around. And Louis said that Dr. Frantic just looked at them from a negative perspective the whole time. So he don't know what the fuck fuck the Rogue Challenge did for them. But all in all, the retreat was what it was. And, they're going to focus on what works for them. Like Marceau said, eat the meat and spit out the bones. Okay, Martell, do you miss all of this? Well, I do want to get married again. I do want a woman beside me anywhere that I go. And they was like, don't you think that is kind of you rushing into something like this already? And he was just like, well, I didn't say I was getting married tomorrow. He's working towards that goal. But Martell has always been very clear. He wants to be married. He likes to be married. He likes that union. It's just that he has all these other troublesome proclivities that he can't seem to get... he can't seem to get rid of. Martell tells us, well, as I sit and listen to the guys talk about their marriages, it makes me reflect on my marriage. And I do miss my marriage, to be honest with you. But now that I'm single and I'm dating, I've got to find that perfect person. And next time I will cherish my marriage more. Well, good. Hindsight is 20/20. But the conversation that really made me sit here and side-eye this whole episode was the conversation, like I said, between Mel and Martell. Now, Mel pulls up in her Mercedes wagon, and Martell's outside throwing the ball around with the kids. Okay, so when she pulls up, mommy, hey, babies, how y'all doing? Hey, my babies, how y'all doing? Everybody is happy to see Mel. Okay, so they go in the house, and Mel was just like, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Where I go? And then one of the kids was just like, you used to live here. She's like, what? Girl, I ain't never lived here. I don't know. I ain't never been here before. Anyways, y'all, let me talk to y'all daddy real quick. Okay, so they send the kids off into the other room. And the other reason why I felt like they did this scene after the actual fight is because of the level of, they were really, really comfortable with each other. And usually when you have been fighting or things have been really awkward, then something will bring you guys back together, like a fight with Wanda. Now you guys are more comfortable. So I kind of felt like they was too comfortable because the last time they met, they was awkward, right? So that's why, anyway, let me just continue. So Mel goes, Martell, so have you heard recently about Wanda speaking on our children? Wanda? No, what'd she say? About her questioning the paternity about Sugar Mama. You ain't heard about that? Miss Wanda said that? Not Miss Wanda, yes. And you guys know that Martell had to check Miss Wanda about the shit that she said about the kids in the past. And we get the flashback of when Martell was all up in Miss Wanda's face when they was at the graduation party for Jalen. So Mel is obviously annoyed with this. I think any parent would be. Mel was just like, we are adults, okay? So we can go back and forth and say whatever we gonna say. But the kids are innocent. So why was she even speaking on it? Well, the reason why she was speaking on it is because Mel was on Carlos King's late night reality talk show, wrap-up show. What's it called? Reality? No, that's his podcast. Anyway, on his show. Does it still come on? You guys, I don't usually watch the show until Sunday morning, so I don't know what happens after Love and Marriage Huntsville goes off. But anyway, when she was on there, Mel was talking slick and saying how Wanda's man be all up in her DMs. And when Carlos King says something along the lines of, what did he say? And she was just like, I don't know, ask him, that's Letitia daddy. Okay. So you talking about Letitia daddy, so I guess Miss Wanda took it upon herself to talk about the kids. So when she was telling Martell, Martell laughed. Yeah, I did hear about that. Miss Wanda don't need to be trying to attach herself to my kids' legacy. I said, girl, your kids are going to forever be attached to Miss Wanda and Letitia and Marceau and Kimmy and Maurice and Martell and you and everybody else on this show, because this show was out there. So it'll forever be out there in the annals of the internets. Martell, well, how old is she? She gotta be about 60 or something. Okay, too old for this mess. Well, you got her number? And she says, no, but you know what? She gonna get it. Okay? And she don't like this shit. But one thing for sure is that her and Martell are always gonna be together when it comes to the raising and the rearing of their kids. Okay? They're always going to be on the same damn page. So Martell tells us Melody is going to give Miss Wanda an earful, and she will deserve it. So I'm with Mel. Handle it. because they are not divided when it comes to their children. They are a team, okay? And look, everything has been going so well with the communication between the two of them.
I'm just glad that for about the last month and a half, our communication has gotten better. And Mel,
yeah, and I'm about to take the kids down to Destin, so if you wanted to come, then
you can come on along too. That was when we saw the video, the alarm going off, and them two all of them looking like they getting along just fine for a hot minute, you guys. The Holtz was on the same page. It's actually very sad that they been fighting and shit, because it seems like life is so much easier when everybody just gets along. Now, we jump over to Destiny, honey. Destiny was like, I guess I better get me a fucking man if I want to be on this love and marriage show. Cannot still be the single one on the show. Okay, so she's at home, and she said it's been hell the last 2 years because of her divorce, and then she ain't had no damn money, and, then the pandemic, and, all of this. It forced her to close Madani, and then she was having issues. I guess she was trying to buy the property that Madani is in, or was it the Suites? Or maybe it's both of them. Anyway, she was trying to buy the property. No, it's Madani. She was trying to buy the property, but her and the landlord can't seem to come to agreement on, I guess, maybe the price or whatever. So that's why Madani has kind of been on the back burner. But she was just like, fuck it, I'm about to open this shit back up, soft launch, get it back out there. I was like, wasn't the first one a soft launch? I mean, when this shit is going to be hard? So soft launch means that it's just for the show. Anyway, after she finishes with the person that's assisting her on her soft launch and everything, then she gets a call from her new boo. Moses is his name. Hey, baby, how you doing? Hey, baby, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Just checking up on you. Is everything okay? Everything is good. Okay. She tells us she's been knowing Moses for 13 years. Okay. That he's back in St. Louis and that she's in another long distance relationship. Now, he's not going to be at the soft launch. Ain't quite ready to unveil Moses like that, but Moses has to go to a fume. But yeah, she feeling Moses. She's like, he's a strong man. Okay, scrint. He's an alpha male. She's an alpha female. She loves the fact that they're together. So, she tells him that she's going to be flying out to see him soon. And when they get off the phone, he says, I love you. And she says, I love you too. I said, oh, we had I love yous? How long you been saying this, young man, Miss Destiny? Later on, we see Martell. He goes to an establishment called the Wine Rack, and when he sees the owners of the wine shop, he says, "I was hoping that you had a chance to have some of the wine that I sent over here, and if you hadn't had a chance yet, maybe we can drink some together, and you can tell me what you think." He tells us that he invited Destiny, but as usual, Destiny is late. So he's just there with the owners, and they're like, sure, why not, So we pour a little bit of the wine, and she was just like, I like it. It smells good. And it has what we call legs. I said, bitch, you just saw the episode. Let me not call that lady bitch. Why she had to be a bitch? She ain't no bitch, y'all. Anyway, she's, she got it in her glass. She getting her taste buds ready. And then she pours some, little bit in her mouth and, swish it around. And she was just like, I like it. Okay. Oh, good. I'm really relieved that Cynthia enjoys my wine. And I'm even happier that they'll carry it in the store. Well, if you guys are looking for Martell's drink, then go on and find Cynthia's shop. Okay. She might be the only one that got it from what they say. So anyway, while they're drinking the wine and just kind of shooting the shits, Destiny walks in, and Martell was like, you late. Okay, but you missed it. Miss Cynthia gave my wine a 10. She was like, a 10.5. All right, Miss Cynthia, enough. Go on some damn way. You got to put 20 on 10, didn't you? So they laugh and joke, and then Miss Cynthia and her husband, they excuse themselves. They got to go do, take care of some business. And so Destiny and Martell are speaking. Destiny tells him how proud she is of him, and, he thanks her. Then she tells him that Madani is reopening, and that she wants him to come to the reopening.
Or is your boo gonna be there?
Nope, not yet. But she tells him that she's known him for 13 years. And basically, when he found out that she got divorced, he called her and was just like, I can't let you go again. And Martell was just like, oh, what? I got to use that on my next time. And Martell was so impressed with that line. You know, he took his phone out and was like, I cannot let you go again. So anyway, she's getting it all done, getting her guest list together. You know, she's inviting the people. And he was just like, oh, is Mel coming? All right. And she was just like, I'm inviting the people that want to be there. Okay. Well, like Mel? Why are you so worried about Mel being there, Martell? Truth be told, Destiny said, I ain't talked to Mel since, you know, the whole Galentine's mess and all of that. So, no, I hadn't planned on inviting the girl. But, I mean, I guess if you keep on insisting, I guess I will. So then, Destiny knew that this was being messy. Because really, it was no need for you to tell Martell this. But Destiny goes on to tell Martell that Kimmy told her, that Mel told Kimmy, that Martell and Mel, the first one, was messing around back when they were about to get married. And so he was just like, oh, what? I mean, that was something like 13, 14 years ago. Like I wasn't seeing her back then. You know, I wasn't looking at no other woman back then. Okay, the nigga was still green. Well, apparently she thinks that you and Melnika have something going on currently. And he was just like, what? Melnika is happily married. Like, I know her husband and everything. Ain't nothing going on there. Martell don't have no interest at all. I don't know. Melnika just doesn't seem like his type anyway. But, you know, maybe his type is coochie.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure Mel got one of those.
But you know what? Martell ain't falling for it.
You know what? You can poke me if you want to. I ain't finna go there no more. No, I'm serious. I ain't got time for all this back and forth. I ain't got time for the fussing.
Destiny was just like, oh, that's big of you. All right, and I said, Destiny, you messy. You messy. You messy. Did you really need to tell Martell that? Didn't it feel like all of this got recorded after the fight? I really think it did. All right, you guys, that is it. Let me go in the house and edit this. And it looks like my phone is at capacity in storage. So let me hurry up and get off of here before this shit cut off. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.